Okay, so this is the easiest method I could come up with for ordering the fractions, right? So for the first one, it is we want it from biggest to smallest, right? So the first thing I did was I put an alphabet to each fraction, right? So I can keep track of them, right? So I named A, B, C, D, and E for 4 over 12, 2 over 4, 8 over 10, 9 over 11, and 2 over 8, right? So to compare fractions, the first thing we need to do is need to cross multiply. That means for the first two fractions I'm comparing, I'm going to compare B 2 over 4 to A, right? So to compare fractions, you need to cross multiply. What that means is you need to put the fractions next to each other like this. Okay, let's just do it over here. Like you're gonna say 2 over 4, and you want to compare that to 4 over 12, right? And the way to compare it is to cross multiply. So what you're going to do is you're going to go across like that. 4 times 4, and you're going to get 16. And then 12 times 2, you're going to get 24, right? So then you look at which is the bigger number. That's going to be the bigger fraction. So in this case, it's 24. 24 is on this side, right? So what that means is this fraction is bigger than this because 24 is bigger than 16. So what we're going to do is, right, we're going to pick one of these fractions, right? We're going to pick one of these fractions. That's going to be our reference point. So I chose to go with 2 over 4. So I'm going to use B, and I'm going to pick, and I'm going to compare to each one of these one at a time, right? So first I compared B to A, right? That makes sense. So 4 times 4 16, 12 times 2 is 24, and that gave me the conclusion that B is greater than A, right? Then I compared B to C, did the same thing, gave me the conclusion that C is bigger than B, right? Because the 32 is bigger than the 20 on the side, right? Then I did that for D, right? So we did A, we did C, we did D, and we need to E, right? Same thing, cross multiply, came to conclusion D is bigger than B. And then for the last one, compared B to E, and we came to the conclusion that B is bigger than E, right? So now that we finished comparing all, we can start from the top and we can start fixing our positions, right? So we start from the top. So you know that B is bigger than A, right? So I'm just gonna write it here, right? This thing is focusing, right? So I'm gonna say that, so in terms of my positions now, I know that B will be somewhere around there and it's bigger than A. So A will be somewhere around there, right? Because biggest to smallest, right? Next, we know that C is bigger than B. So obviously C now will be bigger than B. It'll be somewhere on the side of B, right? So then we did that. Now I know D is bigger than B. So you know D is bigger than B, but we don't know how much bigger than B it is. We just know it's on this side because it's bigger, but C is also bigger, but we don't know which one, right? So I'm just going to write it here below C, right? So we did that, we did that, we did that. D is bigger than E, and we know that B is bigger than E, right? So B is bigger than E. E is going to be on somewhere this side, but we don't know how it is compared to A. So we're just going to write it there. All right. So now we have the general idea. The only problem is C and D, A and E. So what we can do is we can use the same method how we compared them all here, and we can just compare them together one more time, right? So we're going to compare C and D first. So let's see, C and D, right? The fractions we had here for C, if we go back, is 8 over 10 and 9 over 11, right? So if we come here, 8 over 10 and what was it, 9 over 11, then we can we can cross multiply, right? Yeah, so hold on oh no COD. Okay, yeah. 9 times 10, you're gonna get 90. Then 11 times 8, you're gonna get 88. So that tells us that D is actually bigger than C. So if we write it out again now, so we know that D is greater than C. So we know that we can take that off from there and put it here, right? So then we just need to compare the same thing, compare A and E, right? Let's go back to A. That's 4 over 12 compared to E, just 2 over 8. Two times 12, 24. And then 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah, and then so we know that A is actually bigger than E, so we can scratch this out and write it like that, and this is actually our answer. All you need to do is, obviously this will correspond to those fractions, and you can just write it out again.